Well, now that the Christmas feast is over today, tomorrow, thousands of people are expected to flock to various beaches right across the country to celebrate the festive season. And the same will happen over New Year's Eve, New Year's Day and the remainder of the holiday period. Let's speak about the situation on the country's beaches now. Bring in the president of Life Saving South Africa, Winston Meyer. A very good evening to you, Winston. Thank you for speaking to us on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas. I hope you've had a wonderful one. Your observations so far in terms of safety at the beaches?
Tabikile, thank you very much to you and to listeners, and thanks for having us. Beaches currently are very, very busy, overcrowded in many places of the country. If we go to Durban, the Durban beaches are open, and so do the beaches south of Durban as well as the lower south coast of KZN. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, you know that lately in the news, you know that many of the beaches in Durban, they were closed. Although they are currently open, we cannot comment on the water safety as we don't conduct tests. Those tests for E. coli are only done by municipalities.
And how many?
But the beaches are extremely busy and people need to be vigilant.
Right. And how many of the beaches, especially around KZN, currently are able to operate? Because, as you're saying, there is the concern about E. coli, which has continued for more than one holiday period at this point.
Well, I think down south beaches is fine. Baba further down south is fine. But if you look at the main beaches in Durban, certainly for now, we will recommend that people do not swim.
But what that will do, Winston, am I right, is that because of the limited options, people are likely to go to the same sort of beaches, and that's where the numbers will swell. And that poses then a higher risk in terms of safety, correct?
Correct, very correct. You must remember that, unfortunately, whenever it's festive season, everybody wants to be in the water. And now that they are closing some of the beaches, or knowingly that some of the beaches is not safe to go and swim into, obviously people will move to beaches where they feel they can go to within the near vicinity. So all that we ask our beachgoers is please be vigilant, read the information, especially information that comes in the local newspapers, and to affairs yourself with what is the current state of affairs.
And the beaches around Durban were packed on Reconciliation Day, the 16th of December, right? Where does Life Saving South Africa then come in during a period such as this, when so many of us want to be outside and want to enjoy our beautiful country and its waters?
If we take Durban as an example, which is the go-to place in South Africa, we expect on the Durban beaches 1.3 million visitors, as Durban is obviously noted as the South African playground. Now, on 26 and 28, as well as on 30 December through to the 1st of January, we expect thousands of people on the beaches each day. Lifesavers will certainly have their hands full. We're currently sitting in South Africa all over inland as well as coastal with about 4,500 voluntary lifeguards. However, they also work hand in glove with your pro lifeguards, and those lifeguards are lifeguards that are employed by the city, betros as well as by municipalities. So all that we ask people is please be vigilant. As I said, in Durban, expected tally is about 1.3 million in total, and it's thousands per day.
And in events where there is an emergency, Winston, just educate us slightly for those of us who've, I suppose, fortunately, not been in a situation where we've had an emergency at a beach or in the water. For lifeguards, what are the systems that trigger an actual response when someone is in trouble?
If there's emergencies, obviously every beach and every swimming pool, they do have a lifeguard tower. And I'm now referring to those beaches that are specifically guarded by lifesavers, whether they're voluntary or whether they're pro. So make sure that when you enter the beach vicinity, that you know where is your lifeguard posts. And very importantly, make sure that you swim between the flags. as millions of people will flock to the beaches, there's a number of things that beachgoers and holidaymakers need to be aware of, the high risks. Now, specifically, if you look at crowds and complacency, you'll find that millions flock to beaches, pools and rivers, and you will find that mixed skills, fatigue, and distraction all compound to risk. Now, add to that the whole issue of our good friend alcohol, long days in the sun and overconfidence that add to the danger, and the picture doesn't look so rosy anymore. I've mentioned alcohol, fatigue is another one. It impaired judgment, then also unpatrolled waters. A significant share of our tragedies that we occur is within lifeguarded zones that is not patrolled. So just stay away from those. And then also the variable conditions. You know that spring tides, stronger currents and changing surf amplify hazards, even for experienced swimmers. And very importantly, be vigilant and ensure that you know also how to read the conditions on the day. Rip currents is rife in South African beaches. Be careful and always swim between the flags. That is the major concern for us.
Child safety, Winston, is another major one, right? Because you've got parents who are there. As you're saying, sometimes the adults overindulge in alcohol. Children either go missing, they mix with other families or other groups that are there. And before you know it, they've moved to a different section of the beach and no one knows their whereabouts. Or they drown, tragically. How do we keep children safe?
Well, to keep children safe, it boils down to the basics. First and foremost, distracted supervision of children. Many a time we will find that parents, they sit on their phones while the children are unguarded in the water. Similarly so, you have parents that is in the water under the influence of alcohol. And then a very big one is that we always assume that calm water equals safe conditions. Parents should be alert to those things. We do have a very good program where we have the tag system identikits, specifically the city of Cape Town. They work hand in glove with Life Saving South Africa, as well as all over other beaches where we have the system, and the information that goes on that tag for children specifically will give them a certain identified number, not their own identity number. Obviously, the detail of the guardians, the parents, siblings, whoever. So when they get lost, lifeguards certainly, that is the call for lifeguards to look at the tags, and then they can easily get hold of the parents then after that. But very importantly, stay between the flags. The flags are set up every day to ensure the safe zone that we have on our beaches. Right. And if the red flag is up, parents should know, alert your children whenever the red flags are up, no swimming at all.
Winston Meyer, life-saving advice there. Thank you so much for speaking to us on this Christmas Day as people prepare to head to the beaches tomorrow to enjoy the rest of the public holiday. Thank you for being on SABC News.